Let me tell you something that may not feel good at first, but it's something you need to hear. No one is your friend, not in the way you may think, not in the way we wish the world worked. Now, I'm not saying people don't care. I'm not saying people don't smile, shake your hand, sit at your table. But the truth is, when life gets real, when struggle comes knocking, when the lights go out and the crowd is gone, you'll see that most of what you called friendship was convenience, not commitment. And that's not something to be bitter about. That's something to understand. Because when you understand that, you stop expecting others to carry your load. You stop leaning on people who were never meant to hold you up. And you start building the kind of strength that can't be taken, can't be shaken, can't be broken. Loyalty is one of those words people like to throw around easily. It sounds good, it feels good, it gives comfort to believe that others are loyal to you simply because they're close to you, because they share your space, because they speak kindly, or because they've stood by you when things were good. But when you really look at life, when you truly pay attention, you start to see the difference between loyalty to you and loyalty to what you provide. And that's a hard truth to face, because most people aren't loyal to you. They're loyal to their needs, their wants, their benefit. And when that benefit changes, their loyalty changes too. You see it all the time. People will stand by your side as long as they're getting what they want, as long as you're making them feel good, as long as you're making life easier for them, as long as your success benefits them in some way. But the moment you can't provide what they seek, the moment you can't serve their purpose, the moment you set a boundary they don't like, watch how fast that so-called loyalty fades. Because it was never about you, it was about them. True loyalty is rare because it asks for something deeper than convenience. It asks for commitment without condition. It asks for presence in both the highs and the lows. It asks for support when there's nothing to gain. And that kind of loyalty doesn't come often. It's not found in crowds. It's not found in flattery. It's not found in the people who are only there when the sun is shining. True loyalty shows up in the storm. True loyalty stands in the fire. True loyalty stays when staying costs. Most people are loyal to their own needs, and that's why you see people change when their needs change. That's why you see relationships shift when life gets hard. That's why people who once praised you start to criticize, or people who once leaned on you start to walk away. Their loyalty wasn't anchored in you. It was anchored in what you could do for them, how you made them feel, how you served their plans. And once you no longer fit that role, they no longer feel loyal. This is why it's dangerous to base your worth on other people's loyalty. Because if their loyalty is tied to their needs, then your value in their eyes will rise and fall with how well you meet those needs. And that's not a stable place to stand. That's not where strength comes from. If you're constantly trying to keep people loyal by meeting their expectations, by giving what they want, by sacrificing your own peace to serve their comfort, you'll end up drained, disappointed, and alone the moment you can't or won't meet those needs anymore. True loyalty is rare because it doesn't depend on what you can provide. It doesn't depend on circumstances. It doesn't depend on benefit. True loyalty says, I'm here not because of what I can get from you, but because I believe in who you are. And that kind of loyalty can't be bought, can't be faked, can't be forced. It's earned, it's proven, it's tested over time. And you'll only know who holds that kind of loyalty for you when life tests it. Look at your life. Look at the people around you. Who's loyal to you because of who you are, and who's loyal because of what you give? Who shows up when there's nothing to gain? Who stays when staying isn't easy? Who supports you when your success no longer benefits them? These are the questions that reveal the truth. And when you answer them honestly, you might see that the circle is smaller than you thought. But don't be discouraged by that. Be thankful, because a small circle of true loyalty is worth more than a crowd of convenience. Most people are loyal to their needs, and that's why their loyalty feels so fragile. That's why it changes so fast. That's why the same people who cheered for you yesterday may fall silent today. That's why those who stood with you in celebration may step back and struggle, because their loyalty was never about you. It was about the part of you that served their purpose. And when that part no longer fits, neither does their loyalty. This is why you have to build your foundation on something stronger than other people's loyalty. Build it on your character. Build it on your values. Build it on your purpose. Build it on the loyalty you show to yourself. Because when your strength comes from within, you don't need to chase the loyalty of those who are only loyal to what you provide. You can appreciate true loyalty when it comes, but you don't depend on it to stand tall. In this world, true loyalty is rare, and that's what makes it valuable. That's what makes it powerful. That's what makes it something to cherish, not to expect from everyone. When you find it, honor it. But never forget, most people's loyalty isn't to you. It's to their own needs, and understanding that truth will save you from the disappointment of expecting more from people than they are able or willing to give. There's a truth in life that doesn't always show itself when the skies are clear and the road is smooth. It reveals itself when the storm comes, when the weight gets heavy, when the crowd thins out, when the applause stops, and all that's left is the test of character. In those moments, you find out something that no good times can teach you. Who was really standing with you and who was just standing near you. Because in easy times, it's hard to tell the difference. Everyone looks loyal when there's something to celebrate. Everyone looks supportive when there's success to share, when there's gain to be had, when there's light everywhere you look. But the storm separates the genuine from the convenient. Tough times strip away illusions. They show you the difference between presence and partnership. See, some people stand with you, not because it's easy, not because it's popular, not because they're getting something from it, but because they believe in you, because they value you beyond your usefulness, because their loyalty isn't tied to conditions. These are the people who don't just celebrate your victories, they share your battles. They don't just show up when there's a feast. They show up when you're hungry. They don't just stand by you at the top of the mountain. They help you climb it. But then there are those who only stood near you. They looked like they were with you. They smiled in your face. They spoke kind words. They may have clapped the loudest when things went right, but their nearness was never about you. It was about what you could offer, what you could give, what being close to you did for them. And when the tough times hit, when standing by you stopped being easy, when the storm asked them to sacrifice, to risk, to endure, they stepped back. They disappeared. They found a reason to leave, and their absence in your struggle showed you what their presence in your success was really worth. It's a hard lesson, but it's a necessary one. Because knowing who's really standing with you frees you. It frees you from false hope. It frees you from chasing approval. It frees you from the disappointment of expecting more from people than they're willing or able to give. And it teaches you to value the rare, real loyalty that stands tall in the storm, the loyalty that doesn't flinch when things get dark, the loyalty that says, I'm here not because of what I can get, but because of who you are. Tough times act like a mirror. They reflect the truth about your relationships. They show you who checks in on you when you fall silent, who reaches out when you have nothing to offer, who defends your name when you're not in the room, who helps lift the burden when it's too heavy to carry alone. These are the people standing with you. And when you see them clearly, when you recognize them, you'll stop wasting energy on those who were only standing near you. The thing about tough times is they don't just reveal others, and they reveal you. They show you how much you've depended on the wrong people. They show you where you need to stand stronger on your own. They show you how to build a life where your foundation isn't based on the approval of those who leave when the going gets tough. And that kind of clarity, that kind of truth, even though it hurts in the moment, is a gift, because it clears the path for real connections. It clears the path for real strength. People can stand near you for years and never truly be with you. And sometimes it takes just one storm to show you the difference. One setback, one failure, one hard season, and suddenly those who were near you drift. Suddenly those who always said the right things are nowhere to be found. Suddenly those who seem to be part of your team show you they were only there for the good times. And you're left with a smaller circle, but a stronger one. A quieter room, but a more honest one. The people who stand with you in tough times don't need the spotlight. They don't need recognition. They don't need to be asked. They just show up. They do the small things. They do the hard things. They stay when it costs them something to stay. And they remind you that loyalty isn't loud. It's consistent. It isn't about grand gestures. It's about steady presence. It isn't proven in words. It's proven in action, when action is hard. When tough times come, and they will, don't fear the storm. Don't fear the loneliness that may follow when people who stood near you start to fall away. Welcome the truth it brings, because that truth is what allows you to stop leaning on the wrong support. That truth is what teaches you where to place your trust. That truth is what helps you build a life, a circle, a strength that no storm can shake. And when the storm passes, you'll know exactly who stood with you, and you'll never waste a moment missing those who only stood near you. Friendship is one of the most powerful connections in life, but it is also one of the most misunderstood. Too often, people walk through this world believing that because they are kind, because they give, because they share, because they stand by others, they are entitled to friendship in return. But life doesn't work that way. No one owes you friendship. No one is required to be loyal, to be present, to be true to you simply because you expect it or desire it. Real friendship is not a debt someone has to pay, it's a choice that's earned, tested, and proven over time. It's easy to think that friendship should come naturally, that just because you share laughter with someone, just because you have memories together, just because you've been through good times side by side, that it means friendship is guaranteed. But the truth is, those moments are not the test. Those moments are the easy part. The true test of friendship doesn't come when everything is going well. The true test comes in struggle, in hardship, in those seasons of life when you have nothing to offer except your honest self. And that's where you learn that friendship is never owed. It is given freely by those who choose to give it. And that choice is rare. Nobody owes you their time. Nobody owes you their loyalty. Nobody owes you their energy, their sacrifice, their presence in your life. And the moment you stop expecting friendship as something you deserve just for being you, and start understanding that it's something that grows through effort, through honesty, through challenge, through time, you free yourself from disappointment. Because too many people go through life feeling betrayed, not because they lost a real friend, but because they misunderstood what friendship truly is. They thought it was automatic. They thought it was a right. But real friendship is a privilege, not a right. Friendship is earned in the small, quiet moments when you show up for each other without fanfare. It's earned when you're honest, even when it's uncomfortable. It's earned when you stay, when staying costs you something. It's earned when you forgive, when you give grace, when you stand beside someone not because it benefits you, but because you choose to be there. And earning that kind of friendship doesn't happen in a day or a week or even a year. It happens over time. It happens through seasons. It happens through tests of character, tests of loyalty, tests of resilience. And friendship is tested. Make no mistake, life will test your connections. Life will shake the ground beneath your relationships and show you what's built on rock and what's built on sand. The people who are with you in the sunshine might not be there in the storm. And that doesn't mean they're bad people. It just means they weren't your friends in the way you hoped. Because friendship is proven under pressure. Friendship is proven when there's no benefit, no applause, no reward for staying. Friendship is proven when it's hard, when it hurts, when it would be easier to walk away. It's easy to call someone a friend. It's easy to wear the title. But the title means nothing if it isn't backed by action. And that's where the proof comes. Not in words, not in promises, not in social media posts, not in smiles at the party, but in what people do when you need them. In what people do when you have nothing to give them. In what people do when standing with you costs them something. That's where friendship lives. That's where friendship breathes. And that's where friendship is proven. When you understand that no one owes you friendship, you stop chasing it from the wrong people. You stop begging for loyalty. You stop holding on to people who were only meant to be part of your journey for a season. You stop tying your worth to who stays or who leaves, because real friends stay because they want to, not because they have to. Real friends give because it's in their heart, not because it's expected of them. Real friends walk beside you because they believe in who you are, not because they feel obligated. And when you stop expecting friendship as something that's owed, you start appreciating it as something that's sacred. You stop taking it for granted. You stop wasting time on shallow connections and start nurturing the rare, real bonds that stand the test of time. You give grace when it's needed. You honor the people who choose to stay. You learn to be the kind of friend you hope to find. And in doing so, you build something that no storm can destroy, something that no time can fade, a friendship earned, tested, and proven through the seasons of life. There's a powerful lesson that life will teach you if you're paying attention, the kind of lesson that doesn't always feel good at first, but will strengthen you more than any crowd ever could. And that lesson is this: don't depend on the company you keep to define your strength, your worth, or your direction, because people will come and go. People will change. People will disappoint. People will surprise you, both for better and for worse. But your character, that is yours. That is what you build, what you carry, what you stand on when everything around you shifts. Too many people look for validation in who's around them. They believe that if they can surround themselves with the right crowd, the right connections, the right friends, they'll be strong, they'll be safe, they'll be valuable. But that's a dangerous way to live because it puts your foundation in someone else's hands. It makes your identity dependent on who stays, who leaves, who claps for you, who turns away. And the moment that crowd changes, as it always will, you're left questioning yourself, your worth, your purpose. That's no way to build a life. Character is what anchors you when the company you keep shifts. It's what holds you steady when people walk away. It's what keeps you going when applause fades and attention moves on. Your character is the part of you that doesn't change depending on who's watching. It's who you are when no one is looking. It's what you choose when no one's there to praise you, no one's there to correct you, no one's there to tell you what's right or wrong. And depending on your character means you've decided to build your life on a foundation that can't be taken from you. People often chase the company because it feels good to be surrounded. It feels good to have people by your side. It feels good to have voices cheering for you, lifting you up, calling you friend. And there's nothing wrong with that. We're human. We want connection. We need community. But the danger comes when you lean too hard on those connections, when you start measuring your worth by who's with you rather than by who you are inside. Because when you depend too much on the company, you start compromising your character to keep it. You start bending, shrinking, adjusting yourself to fit in, to be liked, to be accepted. And every time you do, you chip away at the very strength you need most. Depend on your character because that's what will stay when the room empties. That's what will guide you when you have to make hard choices. That's what will keep you upright when the world tries to knock you down. Character is built in quiet moments. It's built when you choose honesty over convenience, when you choose integrity over popularity, when you choose principle over comfort. It's built when you do the right thing, even when it costs you. And when you've built that kind of character, you won't need to lean on the company you keep for strength. You'll carry that strength within you. The people around you may be a reflection of your journey at times, but they are not your foundation, because even the best people can fall. Even the most loyal can leave. Even the strongest can fail. And if your strength is tied to them, you'll fall with them. But if your strength is tied to your character, you'll stand no matter what happens around you. You'll be able to walk alone if you have to, not because you want to, but because you can. Because your strength doesn't come from the crowd and it comes from within. Character means doing what's right, not what's easy. It means standing by your values, not swaying with the wind of public opinion. It means leading yourself before you expect anyone else to follow. And when you live like that, you'll attract people who respect you for who you are, not for what you can give them, not for how you make them feel in the moment. The company you keep will change, but your character will remain. And that's what will see you through the storms. Depend on your character, not the company you keep. Because at the end of the day, when you look in the mirror, when you face yourself, when you answer to your own conscience, it won't be the crowd that stands with you. It will be you. It will be the choices you made, the values you upheld, the integrity you maintained, and that's what will bring you peace. That's what will build a life that lasts. That's what will give you strength that no loss, no betrayal, no change in company can ever take away. When you build your life on character, the company you keep becomes a blessing, not a necessity. You appreciate the good people, but you don't depend on them to define you. You welcome support, but you don't need it to stand tall, because you've built a foundation that no one can give you and no one can take from you. There's a truth that's easy to forget in a world that constantly pushes us to seek approval, validation, and connection from others. That truth is this: the most important relationship you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. The person who should be your best friend and your greatest supporter, your most honest critic, your constant companion, is the one staring back at you in the mirror every single day. Because at the end of the day, no one walks every step of your journey with you but you. No one lives in your thoughts. No one feels your heart the way you do. No one carries your burdens exactly as you do. And no one can give you the kind of peace that comes from learning to be at home within yourself. We're taught from an early age to look outward for friendship. We learn to find our tribe, our circle, our people. And yes, friendship with others is valuable, it's beautiful, it's necessary at times. But if you haven't built a friendship with yourself first, no amount of friends on the outside will fill the emptiness that comes from neglecting the person you are inside. Because if you can't trust yourself, if you can't respect yourself, if you can't stand alone in your own presence without fear, doubt, or shame, then the company of others will never feel like enough. Being your own best friend means you've taken the time to know yourself, not just the parts you show to the world, not just the parts that are easy to love, but the parts that are hard, the parts that hurt, the parts that need healing. It means you've stopped running from your flaws and started working with them. It means you've chosen to be honest with yourself even when the truth stings, because a real friend doesn't lie to you, and neither should you lie to yourself. A real friend encourages you to grow, to get better, to face what needs facing. And that's the kind of friend you should be to yourself. When you are your own best friend, you stop being desperate for outside approval. You stop bending just to fit in. You stop shrinking yourself just to be liked, because you already have acceptance where it matters most and within your own heart. You already have someone in your corner who knows your worth, who respects your effort, who forgives your mistakes, who believes in your potential. And when you have that kind of friendship with yourself, you become unshakable. Because no one else's opinion has the power to break you when you've already chosen to stand with yourself. The person in the mirror sees it all, every failure, every victory, every regret, every dream. And being your own best friend means you've decided to show up for that person no matter what. It means you speak to yourself with kindness, not cruelty. It means you give yourself the same grace you'd give a friend you love. It means you cheer for your progress instead of beating yourself up for not being perfect. Because the voice you hear in your head all day long shapes your reality. And when that voice is a friend, not a foe, everything in your life changes. Too many people rely on others to fill the gaps that only self-love can fill. They look to friends, to relationships, to crowds, hoping to feel whole. But no one else can give you what you refuse to give yourself. No one else can carry the weight of your self-worth. No one else can replace the security that comes from knowing you are enough, with or without applause, with or without company. When you make the person in the mirror your best friend, you take ownership of your peace. You take ownership of your joy. You take ownership of your life. Being your own best friend doesn't mean you don't need anyone. It doesn't mean you close yourself off. It means you no longer depend on others to do what is your job, to love you, to respect you, to believe in you. It means you share your life with others, not out of need, but out of fullness. It means you choose relationships that add to your joy, not ones you hope will create it. And that choice comes from building a friendship with yourself that is so solid, so steady, that no rejection, no betrayal, no loss can take it from you. Every morning, when you look in that mirror, you have a chance to speak life into yourself, to stand with yourself, to choose yourself. And every time you do, you build a foundation that no storm can shake. The best friend you'll ever have is already with you, waiting for you to stop looking outward and start looking inward, waiting for you to see that the one person who will always be with you through every season, every struggle, every success is you. And when you choose to stand with that person, you choose to build a life that no one else controls, that no one else defines, that no one else can take away. There's a kind of strength that no crowd can give you, a strength that doesn't come from applause, doesn't come from approval, doesn't come from having people around you to lean on. It's a strength that can only be forged when you learn to stand alone. And in a world that teaches you to fit in, to belong, to seek validation, standing alone feels uncomfortable at first. It feels lonely. It feels heavy. But it's in those moments when it's just you and your choices, just you and your thoughts, just you and your truth. That's where you discover what you're really made of. Standing alone means you stop looking for others to carry you through. You stop waiting for someone to save you, to rescue you, to tell you what to do. You stop depending on the crowd to give you permission to rise. And when you let go of that need for company, when you let go of that need for constant reassurance, you start to find power you didn't even know you had. Because now it's your voice that matters most. Now it's your values that guide you. Now it's your decisions that shape your path. The more you stand alone, the stronger you'll become, because you start to trust yourself. You start to hear your own voice above the noise. You start to see that you don't need to be surrounded to stand tall. You learn that your worth doesn't depend on who stays, who claps, who agrees. It depends on your character, your integrity, your willingness to keep walking even when no one walks with you. And that kind of strength, the strength that comes from standing alone, can't be shaken by rejection. Can't be broken by betrayal, can't be taken by loss. When you stand alone, you face the truth about yourself. And that's where the real growth happens, because it's easy to hide in a crowd, it's easy to blend in, to follow along, to let others' opinions become your guide. But when you're alone, you can't hide from who you are. You have to face your fears, your doubts, your weaknesses. And in doing so, you find your courage, you find your resilience, you find the parts of you that were waiting for the quiet so they could rise. Every time you choose to stand alone for what's right, for what matters, for what you believe, you get stronger. Because standing alone means you've stopped needing agreement to validate your convictions. You've stopped needing approval to confirm your worth. You've stopped needing company to feel complete. And that kind of strength makes you unshakable. It makes you someone who doesn't fold when the pressure comes, someone who doesn't change with the crowd, someone who leads not because they want followers, but because they refuse to follow what's false. Standing alone doesn't mean you don't value others. It doesn't mean you reject connection. It means you've learned to value yourself first. It means you've chosen to build your foundation on what's within you, not on what surrounds you. And when you do that, the relationships you do have become healthier, because you're not clinging to them out of need. You're sharing your strength, not asking others to supply it. You're giving from a place of fullness, not desperation. The more you stand alone, the clearer your vision becomes, because crowds can blur your focus. They can distract you from your purpose. They can tempt you to compromise, to settle, to chase what's popular instead of what's right. But standing alone forces you to focus, forces you to ask the hard questions, forces you to decide who you are and what you stand for without outside influence. And that clarity, that's power. That's the kind of power that can't be bought, can't be borrowed, can't be given. It has to be earned. You'll find that the more you stand alone, the more peace you'll have, because you won't be tossed around by other people's opinions. You won't be shaken by gossip, by judgment, by the fear of not fitting in. You'll know where you stand, and you'll stand there with confidence. And that confidence attracts the right kind of people. People who respect your strength, people who share your values, people who aren't trying to change you, but who are inspired by your courage to stand. Every time you choose to stand alone when it's easier to follow the crowd, every time you choose your truth over comfort, every time you choose integrity over approval, you build strength. And that strength will carry you through storms. It will carry you through loss. It will carry you through every season of life when you have to walk the road by yourself. And what you'll find is that standing alone doesn't make you weak. It makes you unstoppable. Because the person who learns to stand alone is the person who can stand through anything. At the end of the day, the greatest strength you will ever know will not come from the crowd, from the applause, or from the people who stood near you when times were easy. It will come from within, from the loyalty you show to yourself, from the character you choose to build when no one is watching, from the resilience you forge when you stand alone. No one owes you friendship. No one owes you loyalty. The world doesn't promise support, and people will often serve their own needs before they stand for yours. That's why your greatest friend, your truest ally, your most reliable source of strength must be the one staring back at you in the mirror. Because when the company fades, when the storm rises, when the silence gets loud, it will be your choices, your values, your inner strength that keep you standing. And that, above all else, is what defines who you are and how far you will go.